this next section, your men's moral and physical welfare. When men are moral, the moral power which binds them together and fits them for high action is given its main chance for success. Now, listen to these. To be temperate in all things, to be continent, and refrain from loose living of any sort are acts of the will. They require self-denial and a foregoing of that which may be more attractive in favor of the thing which should be done. Granted, there are few individuals who are so thin-blooded that they never feel tempted to digress morally. Men in the majority are not like that. So there's some guys that are just on the straight and narrow. They're so thin-blooded that they get no temptations. Most men, they get temptations. What they renounce in the name of self-discipline at the cost of a considerable inner stress, they endeavor to compensate by gains in their personal character. Making that grade isn't easy, but no one who is anyone has yet said that it isn't worthwhile. In the armed services, there's an old saying that an officer without character is more useless than a ship with no bottom. In summing up, the strength of will which enables a man to lead a clean life is no different than the strength of purpose which fits him to follow a hard line of duty. There are exceptions to every rule. Many a lovable rounder has proved himself to be a first-class fighting man. But even though he had an unconquerable weakness for drink and women, his resolution had to become steeled along some other line, or he would have been no good when the payoff came. So this is, saying that the strength of will that it takes to stay strong in all these situations, all these temptations, that will is real, and that can transfer over. Now, I can tell you that this one is, there's all, the military is filled. Like he says, many a lovable rounder has proved himself to be a first-class fighting man. Of course, guys, they're badass guys throughout the ages that were wild. Even Henry V had a wild man reputation, going back to Shakespeare. And so, but he's saying that, these staying on the straight and narrow enforces your will is what he's saying. Back to the book, putting aside for the moment the question of the vices and regarding only the gain to moral power which comes of bodily exercise and physical condition. So he's talked about vices. Okay, we got it. Stay clean. Stay clean is what he's saying. But now he's saying there's something else. There's something called exercise and physical conditioning. It should be self-evident that the process which builds the muscle must also train and alert the mind. How could it be otherwise? Every physical act must have as its origin a mental impulse, conscious or unconscious. Thus, in training a man to master his muscles, we also help him to master his brain. He comes out of physical training not only better conditioned to move, but better prepared to think about how and why he is moving, which is true mobility. So, you want to strengthen your will? Yes. Stay clean. Stay on the moral path. And then get your physical conditioning on, because that's going to make you mentally tougher. Back to the book. In the United States service, we are tending to forget, because of the effect of motorization, that the higher value of the discipline of the road march in other days wasn't that it hardened the muscles, but that, short of combat, it was the best method of separating the men from the boys. This is true today, despite all the new conditions imposed by technological changes. A hard road march is the most satisfactory training test of the moral strength of the individual man. At the same time, to senselessly overload men for road marching hurts them in two ways. So there's a dichotomy to everything. So you can hurt them with the road march. Here's the two ways. It weakens their faith in the sense of the command, thereby impairing morale, and it breaks down their muscle and tendon. So you overload them, you're going to crush them, you're going to break them, and you're going to ruin their spirit. There is another not infrequent cause of breakdown. The leader who makes the mistake of thinking that every man's limit is the same as his own. So I can do this. I can hump in 20 miles or 20 clicks. Everyone can do it. Wrong answer. When an officer does this kind of thing thoughtlessly, he shows himself to be an incompetent observer of men. When he does it to show off, he deserves to be given 10 days in the electric chair. Hey, there you go. Get in the electric chair. 10 days. That's like, how many times do you die in 10 days in the electric chair?
I know, a lot.
But don't show off is the point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going in the electric chair for 10 days.
But isn't that like an old classic thing in the movie where it's usually to like combat like a situation where the guys are complaining, you know? Like, oh, this is unrealistic. I don't know, obstacle course.
Yeah.
Something like this. And then the drill sergeant or whoever, he does it, you know? He's like the older guy.
Well, yeah, he's proving that, look, I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Right, but in a way, he's like, hey, I can do it, so you should be able to do it.
That's true. Guess what? A young recruit should be able to do it.
Oh, watch out.
Otherwise, he's not reaching the standards. You've got to have standards.
Yeah.
But if he was saying, hey, you should be able to do this with one arm tied behind your back like I can, then it'd be wrong.
Yeah.
You see the difference there?
Oh, yeah.
Because I make sure, because otherwise you can get me on a technicality. Don't want that to happen over here.